Constantly. All right. Good morning and welcome to the Board of Supervisors regular meeting of April 9th, 2024. We'll be going into closed session. Will you, Madam Clerk, will you please report out on last closed session and read in these items?
Closed session from March 26th, item 1, pursuant to Government Code 54957B1, Public Employee Annual Performance Evaluation Title, County Executive Officer, Board Action, no reportable action taken. Item 2, pursuant to Government Code 54956.9D2, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, 1 case, significant exposure to litigation, board action, no reportable action taken. Item 3, pursuant to Government Code 54956.9D2, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, 1 case, significant exposure to litigation, board action, no reportable action taken. Item 4, pursuant to Government Code 54957.6, conference of county designated labor negotiators Teresa Hitchcock, Marcos Munoz, and Judy Hawkins regarding the following employee organizations: Service Employees International Union Local 1021, Sheriff's Management Unit, Calaveras County Public Safety Employees Association, Deputy Sheriff's Association, Calaveras Management Union, Calaveras Supervisors Union, unrepresented employees. Board action, no reportable action taken. Closed session for today, April 9th, item 1, pursuant to Government Code 54957B1, Public Employee Annual Performance Evaluation, Title, County Executive Officer. Item 2, pursuant to Government Code 54956.9D2, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, 1 case, significant exposure to litigation.
Thank you very much. Is there any public comment on this item in the room? Any public comment online?
There is no public comment online.
Thank you very much. We will recess to closed session and we'll return at 9 o'clock. Morning. Welcome to the Calaveras County Board of Supervisors meeting for April 9th, 2024. If you are able, you please rise for the pledge of allegiance. Thank you very much. It's great to see such a great crowd here today. We always appreciate it when we've got people in the audience. So we'll begin with the staff announcements. Is there any, Stacy?
This is a time for county staff to provide updates of upcoming county events that may be of interest to the public.
Let's hear from the airport.
Hi, I'm Elena Bella. I'm the manager at Calaveras County Airport, and I just wanted to remind everybody that this Saturday, rain or shine, we're having the annual Airport Day. I did a little bit of research, and Airport Day, an airfare or some sort of event has been happening there since the airport opened in 1982, with the exception of just a couple of years in the pandemic. And so we're excited to have everybody there. It'll be from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Thank you very much. Other staff announcements? Where's Lisa? She said she had something. Nope. Okay, nothing from Animal Services today. Great. Any other staff announcements online?
There are no online requests.
Thank you very much. Moving on to recognitions and acknowledgements. Item number 3.
Item 3, proclamation. First 5, adopt a proclamation declaring the month of April 2024 as Child Abuse Prevention Be the One Month in Calaveras County.
Gary, you've got the staff.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll be reading this proclamation. Proclaim the month of April 2024 as Child Abuse Prevention Be the One Month in Calaveras County. Whereas based on research, the Be the One campaign can help build community resilience one family at a time. And whereas all members of the community have a role to play in strengthening families to ensure children grow up safe, protected, and loved. And whereas Calaveras County agencies, schools, and organizations are working to bring attention to the long-term impacts of toxic stress to implement trauma-informed strategies to support families. And whereas families are strengthened through positive relationships, resiliency, tools, knowledge of child development, and concrete supports such as income, shelter, food, and childcare. And whereas child abuse is preventable when children have at least one caring, supportive adult in their lives who believe in their potential and provide them unconditional support and care, and know that they're loved. I added that. And whereas caring relationships have the power to build resilience, inspire, and comfort, and transform us, as we have the power to be the one today. So is there any public comments?
Good morning. You guys hear me? I'm Amy Eves. I'm the First 5 Calaveras Executive Director, and I am here on behalf of Prevent Child Abuse Calaveras Council. Our mission is to improve the well-being of all families in Calaveras County through safe and healthy relationships within homes, schools, and communities. Every April, the nation observes Child Abuse Prevention Awareness Month. In 2019, Prevent Child Abuse Calaveras first partnered with Court-Appointed Special Advocates, CASA of Calaveras, to ask the Board of Supervisors to proclaim April as Be the One Month in Calaveras County, a campaign started in Yolo County in support of National Child Abuse Prevention Month. The Be the One campaign raises awareness of the power of connection and the concept that all of us have a role to play in creating safe, stable, nurturing relationships and environments. By building a community that is resilient to adverse experiences and toxic stress, we can all thrive. We ask you to join us in sharing the message that we all have the power to be the one. You can help us spread awareness by wearing blue throughout the month of April, Take a picture of yourself wearing blue. And you can visit first5calaveras.org to add our child abuse prevention profile frame to your picture and post it on social media. And if you add the hashtags wear blue for kids or be the one and post to social media, you can join the movement and make this go viral. And don't forget to tag Prevent Child Abuse Calaveras so we can share. One person can make a difference. Together we can change the world.
Thank you. Any other public comments? No one? Any public comments online?
There are no online public comments.
All right, well, we'll bring it back to the board. Open for a motion or any comments from the board.
I'd like to make a comment. I've observed this program for the last 8 years, and it is a wonderful program. And when you do the awards for Be the One, you really get to see some people who are really making differences in kids' lives. So, yeah, I would be happy to make a motion.
Motion by Supervisor Garamendi,
Second.
second by Supervisor Stopper. Any other comments by the board? If not, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Board of Supervisors of Calaveras County, this 9th day of April 2024, does hereby declare April 2024 as Be the One month in the county of Calaveras.
Well, Jack, you should go down. Man will be on this.
I'm not in it this time, so I'm going to take a picture. Yeah, I'm excited. You better. I don't want to. Do not touch the mic. I will not touch the mic.
All right.
Oh.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. One more. Perfect.
There.
All not me.
My screen was upside down. Must have been a windstorm.
Stacy didn't straighten out.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Item 4, proclamation, Health and Human Service Agency, adopt a proclamation honoring Robin Carter for her over 30 years of service to the residents of Calaveras County in the Health and Human Services Agency Eligibility Division.
Thank you. Breaking practice a little bit, I'm going to read this one because I've known Miss Carter we've raised our children together in this community. So it's my pleasure to honor her, and she's been a real lifesaver in many circumstances over the years for our community. So I get the privilege of reading a proclamation honoring Robin Carter for over 30 years of service as part of the Health and Human Service Agency Eligibility Division and congratulate her on her well-deserved retirement. Whereas Ms. Carter began her career at Health and Human Services Agency in 1991, and whereas Robin has navigated multiple systems transitions, demonstrating remarkable adaptability and vision in modernizing the agency's operations for improved service delivery with SAWS, C4, and CalSAWS, and whereas her unwavering advocacy for her staff, both internally within the agency and externally with state counterparts, has been instrumental in ensuring that changes and advancements considered the unique challenges and strengths of a small rural community like Calaveras. And whereas Robin's leadership led her team to be recognized throughout California as a beacon of innovation and dedication, notably mentioned in the CalFresh TA Digest, which hailed her team's presentation as the little county that could. celebrating their achievements in overcoming rural operational challenges and underscoring the critical impact of attentive listening and breaking down barriers to service. And whereas Robin is distinguished for her exemplary leadership in California, particularly as the helm of the only county to exceed both federal and state established goals for the Medi-Cal unwinding procedure post-COVID-19 pandemic, achieving 100% completion rate and processing applications within 45 days, thereby setting a benchmark in responsive and effective public service. And whereas Robin's journey within the agency, working up from an entry-level position to a current role, is a testament to her dedication, hard work, and exemplary model of career development and leadership. And whereas her invaluable contributions to emergency preparedness and response, especially during critical times such as the Butte Fire, where she led evacuation teams while her own family was displaced, having shown her extraordinary commitment to the community under the most challenging circumstances. Robin, thank you. Are there any public comments? Corey,
Wow.
come on up. And you can. We're going to let everybody talk about you, and then we'll let you say a couple things.
Sure. You're going to round it all up at the end. Hi, Corey Allen with the Health and Human Services Agency, and thank you so much for acknowledging the incredible work and career of Robin Carter. I have to say, in the 3 years that I've been so fortunate to work alongside you, I've just never seen the level of passion for the work in Health and Human Services. Robin has never forgotten her humble roots. She comes every day to the workforce and lifts up people, not only on her staff, but throughout this community, and reminds them that no matter how hard things are right now, there's hope and there's an optimistic future. And she is the reason people get better. And it's something that just runs in her veins. I want to acknowledge her parents are here, Mr. and Mrs. Bunting, who clearly did a fantastic job bringing Robin up in this beautiful county. She lifts people up, and she is a mentor that shows people how to do it. I will tell her team who's in this room, she is a fierce advocate. She's in my office regularly pointing out what needs to get better and how. She's smart. And we are fortunate in Calaveras County that she's not leaving. She may be leaving the county, but she's going to go do some fantastic things with the Resource Connection. And we are excited to be able to continue our partnership. I adore you. I love you. And I'm so thrilled about the time we've gotten to work together.
Other public comment? Stacy?
Good morning, Stacy Johnston, Calaveras Mariposa Community Action Agency. I've had the pleasure of knowing Robin since high school. I will say Robin introduced me to things that I probably shouldn't have been introduced to.
My parents are
I know. But one of the things that when I was thinking about Robin and the thing that kept popping into my head, and I want all of you, our board, and those in this room to kind of lean into, is we talk about return on investment all the time, right? We want to see what our return on investment is in a business, you name it. That's the bottom line. What's our return on investment? You've heard just a fraction of what Robin's career has lended itself here to the county, but I can speak to another side. In 2015, I was honored to work with the Chamber of Commerce, and one of the things that was a highlight of my career was working with Robin, and through the program, what was the name of it? Where clients would come and seek employment, and Robin held many training opportunities and would work with me at chamber events and speak to businesses and ultimately place individuals who were ready for that opportunity to get back into the workforce. I saw it time and time again where businesses got to be the beneficiary of Robin's work. And so
economic development was happening. She didn't even know it, right? Community development was happening. She probably didn't even know it. So when I talk about return on investment, we're talking 30 years of Robin serving through programs that have changed the lives of so many individuals that you cannot put on paper. You can't track a number over 30 years. Lives changed. And in community action, we talk about helping people, changing lives. Robin embodies that every single day. We've worked side by side on many occasions, warming centers, cooling centers, shelters, and she is the first to show up through rain, sleet, snow, you name it, she's there. I love you. This is definitely not goodbye. It's an opportunity, and you know that. I think that's where we get excited, is that there are gaps that we get to fill now because of your leadership and what you bring to your new role and the resource connection. I'm just, again, you're gaining such a gem for our community, and we're just so blessed to see you and see you thrive. And to your mama and daddy, I love you more than anything. You are amazing. Thank you for your service for many years. It has definitely trickled over to Robin. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you.
Thanks, Stacy. See nobody else stand up. Robin, would you like to say something?
Yeah. Wow. All right, I'm going to try not to cry. August of 91, I started this amazing journey with Health and Human Services Agency as an eligibility worker 1. Honestly, I had no idea what I was doing. All I wanted to do was help the community as to where I live. During my almost 33 years, I'm filled with a sense of pride and accomplishment, not only as an eligibility specialist, but also as an employment services unit worker, and I'm finishing my career as a program manager. Throughout my career at HHSA, I've been fortunate to work alongside some of the most talented and hardest working individuals in our county. Together, we have tackled challenges, celebrated successes, and served our community with the utmost respect. Continue to do the great work you do, and don't forget to have fun and celebrate those accomplishments. I want to express my deepest gratitude to all of you who've been a part of my professional journey. Your support has made this career incredibly rewarding. I'm humbled by the experiences we've shared and the memories we've created together. The best memories are potlucks, pop-up Friday themed costume crazy barbecues when COVID hit and we weren't supposed to do anything together, and our annual Halloween celebration, which we've won over 30 trophies at HHSA. Marisa and I taking the HHSA resource on the road during the Butte fire in the Ford truck. We literally had some narrow escapes, guns drawn, all that great stuff. Stacy, those long nights at shelters in the snow and freezing buildings, assisting with people and animals being rescued on snowcats. To my supervisory team, you jump in to help the staff and our clients without giving a second thought. You've been there to cover me when I am out and are the best support staff anyone could ever ask for. To my office techs, eligibility staff, and employment services staff, you are top-notch and the best in the business of assisting our community with the services they are eligible for. The agency and county are truly blessed to have you all. Don't ever forget that. To my husband, Craig, wow, you've dealt with a lot. Thank you for always being supportive and understanding when I've had to work late, when I've had to travel out of town for conferences and handle emergencies and disasters. To my daughter, Cassie, I'm so proud of you for the work that you do at HHSA. To my mom and dad, you have always encouraged Laura and I to be successful and give our best no matter what. Thank you for that. I love you all so much. Corey, Michael, and the executive team, thank you for the laughs, some tears, teamwork, and support over the years. It's not goodbye, it's I'll see you soon. As I retire from HHSA, I embark on a new chapter. As the Resource Connection Director of the Crisis Center, I'm filled with excitement to continue to serve our community, as well as continuing to network with HHSA. Thank you for letting me be part of this amazing agency.
I will bring it back to the board if there's any comments. Supervisor Stopper?
Yeah. A commitment to your community that long and a job over 30 years with the Calaveras County. Your commitment to your community is huge and your patience with the county is very strong. So we appreciate everything you do and your patience, even with, us up here at the podium, working through all your time. Thank you, Connie.
Thank you.
Martin?
Just say thank you so much for your service.
And before I call for the vote, I'll just share one personal anecdote, not regarding our kids, but really the work that Robin's done in my community. There was a night where the county had no choice but to red tag a building. And what we found in the evening was that there was a mother who was ill with two children that were living in a illegal apartment in the back. We didn't know that. When we found it out, it was after business hours, and this woman was about to be unhoused with her children. In a panic, I called the one person who I thought might be able to help, which was Robin. And Robin came in and made sure that the person was housed and was enrolled in the system and was getting the help that they needed. And that was above and beyond, and it was on a moment's notice. And she said, "Jack, I got this." And she did. And so I thank you for all that you do for all of our communities and my community as well. So thank you very much, Robin. With that, I will call for a motion.
I'll move this item, Mr. Chair.
Motion by Supervisor Toffenelli. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Supervisor Stopper. All in favor?
Aye.
Now, therefore, be proclaimed that the Board of Supervisors of the County of Calaveras on this 9th day of April 2024 does hereby honor and recognize Robin for her more than 3 decades of dedicated service, leadership, and commitment to the health and well-being of the citizens of Calaveras County. Be it further proclaimed that upon her retirement, the Calaveras Board of Supervisors wishes Robin a future filled with happiness, fulfillment, and the same dedication and passion that she has shared with our community and its residents. Thank you, Robin.
Mom and dad.
Mom and Dad.
Mom and dad.
Well, my family, my husband, my daughter, Corey, Michael. I heard what I did.
I get mine for it. Where do you want me to be?
I love it.
Stacey, you want to come further? Sure, right over here. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Oh, my pen.
I was gonna.
My 15th pencil. I love these.
All right, we'll move on to item number 5. Madam Clerk?
Item 5, proclamation, library, adopt a proclamation recognizing the week of April 7th through 13th, 2024 as National Library Week in Calaveras County.
Supervisor Hubbard, you have the gavel.
Thank you. Whereas libraries provide an opportunity for everyone to pursue their passions, connect with the community, and engage in a lifelong learning. And whereas libraries remain one of the trusted institutions for all members of every community, regardless of race, ethnicity, creed, ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or socioeconomic status. And whereas libraries work to offer to our communities helpful programs and classes, books and media that are engaging, and new resources to stimulate ideas and conversations while promoting unity. And whereas libraries seek community partners to work together to offer the highest level of service, engagement, and opportunity. And whereas libraries seek to offer resources that help our patrons develop in all areas of life, economically, technologically, socially, personally. And whereas libraries are accessible to all, inclusive of all, and seek to promote local connection, understanding, and cooperation in building our community. And whereas libraries are cornerstones of democracy, promoting free access to information and exchange of ideas for all. And whereas libraries, librarians, and library workers join library supporters and advocates across the nation to celebrate National Library Week. With that, is there any public comment? Nancy.
Thank you, Board. Congratulations, Robin. Nancy Giddens, County Librarian. The American Library Association sets our theme every year. I just want to make that clear. I didn't do this. The theme this year is Ready, Set, Library, which is a cornball, but the idea is that the library is a place that when you're ready to go, you can come here and we will help you with whatever endeavor you have, no matter where you find yourself on the roadmap of the journey of your life, whether you're preparing for a new career, starting a new business, raising a family, going to school, we're there. And we are there to help you as well as we can. I have to tell you, I am so proud of our library system. I was recently out of the state and visited a very well-known library, well-known all over the United States. And I looked around and I thought, well, yeah, they've got a whole lot more money than we do. They are serving a much larger community, but they have nothing on us. They have nothing on us. We have served over 45,000 people in the last year. We have 29,000 library card holders who have checked out and used 120,000 of our resources this year. I think that is pretty amazing. The use of our digital resources is increasing every year. We have about 29% of our uses this year is in digital. And I really like that because unfortunately, that's the future. And for a rural small community, it's very difficult for even our patrons to use these resources, but we're continuing to provide them and helping them get access through all the ways that we provide services for our county. But our people still love to hold an item, books and audiobooks and DVDs. They like those material things as well. So we have a wonderful collection of materials that's growing all the time. Our literacy division served 118 of our citizens last year to improve their literacy skills in all areas, not just reading, but also digital skills, work skills, finance skills. And over 3,300 hours of volunteer service in that division last year. As you know, we continue to serve lunch at the library. We're increasing our program this year. We're very excited about the new opportunities that we'll have. We gave away 5,547 lunches last year over just a 28-day period. We will increase that this year because we have found some new ways to serve better. Our summer reading program helps our families and our children bridge that reading gap during the summer. We had over almost 1,100 children enrolled last summer. We're looking for more this summer, and each of those children will receive free books all through the summer break time, and activities. And we are so happy with that program and the way it has grown over the years. We offered 389 library programs to children, adults, youth, and had over 6,400 people in attendance. We're really focusing on program. Our friends of the library are helping us provide 3 county-wide programs at the Central Library every year. Our summer reading bash at the end of summer reading, celebrating the moon for NASA's Moon Night. And then recently we had our first Around the World at the Library event where we had cultural experiences for our children to experience. And I wanted to share one little funny story. We had a map that we asked people to put, where have you been in the world? Whoops, hello, strategic plan. And one of the volunteers asked a child, have you been out of the country? Have you traveled out of the country? And he said, yes, I have. And she said, well, where have you been? And he said, San Francisco. So I love it that we are able to show children really what being out of the country means and give them these cultural experiences. So that will become an annual event. Our dedicated staff served our public for over 9,300 hours last year. That's pretty amazing when you consider 3 of our sites are only open 18 hours a week. They do everything they can. They work so hard to make our environment a welcoming, warm, pleasant, and inclusive space. They enjoy helping patrons find their books, use our public computers, and enjoy special programs. They're really true public servants of this county. I'm so proud of all of them. The Friends of the Library continue to partner with us. They are giving us, they pay for the majority of our digital resources. They support our public computers when those need to be replaced. They buy them for us. They are the supporters of the mobile branch library, giving us resource money to increase that collection, and thousands of hours of volunteer service to our libraries every year. They pay also for our storytime leaders, teachers, and so that's a huge service to our young families. So this is National Library Week, and we invite you to get ready to explore, become inspired, and connect with your library for National Library Week. Libraries are there for you all the way to the finish line. The Calaveras County Library staff and volunteers are committed to making our community stronger by offering information, program, books, media, comfortable, welcoming spaces. And we hope to see you at the library this week and every week, because every week is Library Week in Calaveras County.
Thank you, Nancy. Any other public comment?
Good morning. Good morning, Chair Garamendi and supervisors. My name is Terry Lane, and I am here today as the chair of the Calaveras County Library Commission. And I cannot state enough of how proud we are of Nancy and her team and what they continue to accomplish for our community. With Nancy's vision and persistence and sense of humor and leadership, she continues to just move the library system forward. And it is an amazing thing. Next Board of Supervisor meeting you will receive the 2023 library report, which will have the statistics that Nancy shared with you and more information about the programming. And I can pretty much guarantee that it will make you smile. I want to, on behalf of the commission and those that read in Calaveras, to thank you for your continued support of the library system. You have a gem in your midst, and I hope that you're very proud of that. Thank you.
Is there any other comment? Any comment online?
There are no online comments.
With that, I'll bring it back to the board for any comments. Supervisor Stopper.
Just, it's a beacon in the community and, along with your staff, our librarians just are something that brings the community together, and the good-hearted way that you engage with everyone is much appreciated. So thank you.
I'll add to what Supervisor Stopper said, just thank you. I mean, 2/3 of our population have library cards. That's spectacular. Terry, I'm glad to see retirement kept you out of line for at least a week. Good to see you back here. But really, I think to Supervisor Stopper's point, our libraries are a gym. And I'm just so darn proud of everything that they do, from feeding our kids to showing them the world. It's exactly what a library ought to be. And Nancy, your spirit and the spirit of Friends of the Library and the Library Commission just comes through. And I want to thank all the volunteers that make it happen too, and you in particular, Nancy. Thank you so much.
May I? I'll make a motion, but just before I make the motion, Nancy, think about getting a library down in District 5. We need one. There's not many good spots for them just because the way things work on zoning. But
Wait a minute, you just said it brings our communities together, so District 1 and 5.
Mr. Topman has a great point. Thank you, Nancy. With that, I'll make a motion.
I will second the motion.
With that, all in favor?
Aye.
Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Supervisors of Calaveras County proclaim April 7th through the 14th, 2024 National Library Week. During this week, explore, become inspired, and connect with your library and enjoy all the Calaveras County Library has to offer. Thank you.
One, two, three. Okay, thank you.
All right. Let it feel good this morning, huh? All right, we'll move on to general public comment. Madam Clerk.
Any item of interest to the public that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board and is not posted on the consent or regular agendas may be addressed during the public comment period. California law prohibits the board from taking action on any matter which is not posted on the agenda unless it is determined to be an emergency by the Board of Supervisors. If public comment is completed before the 30-minute allotted time period, the board may immediately move to the next order of business. If public comment is not completed during the allotted time period, it will be continued as the last item of business in order to provide an opportunity for the remainder of comments to be heard.
Thank you. Are there items, public who would like to make comment on item not on the agenda that are in the room? Board recognizes. Mr. Bittner.
My name is Christopher Budner, publisher of Calaveras2024election.com. The June 19, 2023 Calaveras County Grand Jury Report stated, as have numerous reports since 1987, the animal shelter built in the 1950s remains in dire need of replacement. On March 26, 2024, Calaveras supervisors denied a proposal to authorize $800 for design and construction documents for the long overdue shelter estimated to cost $11 million, of which $4 million of funding exists. Previously, on November 7th, 2023, the supervisors unanimously approved $5 million for the proposed new district's attorney's office, expected to cost $6 million. Since early 2022, to silence, I've provided detailed documents to the Calaveras DA, expecting investigations would be launched into conflicts of interest, collusion, cronyism, misuse of public funds, government corruption, and personal harassment, with my claims backed by irrefutable evidence and 15 Calaveras Sheriff's Department harassment reports. Most recently, my harassment reports were vetted by Sheriff DiBasilio, who submitted them on my behalf to the DA's office on December 5th, 2023. As of today, no response. 2 of the 15 harassment reports reveal the individual the reports were filed against violated 2 penal codes and 1 civil rights code. A background search revealed this individual was arrested and pleaded to a charge of electronically furnishing obscene materials to minors in Georgia in 2013. In late 2023, these 2 harassment reports were emailed to his employers, where he continues to work, as well as 3 business bureau directors, one of whom is a county district supervisor, without response. Per the Sacramento Bee on September 29th, 2023, the California Attorney General is reviewing for abuse of discretion the Calaveras DA's decision to dismiss the indictment against now fugitive pedophile priest, Father Michael Kelly. The Calaveras DA is undeserving of a new facility due to dereliction of duty and selective enforcement. The $6 million in new DA office funding should be reallocated, thereby ensuring $10 million in funding for a new animal shelter. Fiscal irresponsibility is synonymous with negligence of both public and animal safety. A county government that allows pedophiles to flee justice and flourish in our communities and let innocent and defenseless animals suffer for decades appears to be irreparably broken and beyond redemption. My name is Christopher Budner, publisher of Calaveras2024election.com.
Public speaker, Dana.
Just wanted to let you know I'm holding office hours again this morning in about 10 minutes at the library here in San Andreas from 10 to noon. It's a good thing it's close. I was going to make comments earlier. I thank them for hosting me. It's a good resource for me. Even if I don't have a lot of folks, I can do a lot of research and spend time. And really, I'm kind of old fashioned. I like to look at the physical paper, and even the placement of things is important to me because I'm just learning things about the community. So, and I'm over in Amador and I'm on our friends board, and I'm really envious of Nancy. You got a really great employee. I would love to steal her, but I don't think we'd ever be able to do that. So, and you have a wonderful facility too. I'm really jealous of your facility. It's very nice. So I'll be over there and keep going. And Ms. Carter, congratulations. 30 years is a very long time. And that's there's a lot of challenges. There's a lot of challenges for being a public employee. I always say I have magic dust. I still have some for this month since it's only the 9th. Some things we can do, some things we can't, some things we'll continue to work on. So take that magic dust over to Resource Connection. I know they're doing a lot of good work as well. So thank you again. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Dana. And thanks for the senator for holding these office hours in our county.
Bet. And the law libraries in there also, if you have a little time. So.
Thank you. Is there other public comment in the room? All right, we'll move on to consent agenda. Stacy.
Consent agenda items are expected to be routine and non-controversial. They will be acted upon by the board at one time without discussion. Any board member, staff member, or interested party may request the removal of an item from the consent agenda for later discussion.
Any board members wish to pull an item from the consent agenda?
Items 16. And 19. And I'll leave the rest to everyone else.
I don't see anybody from Public Works here, but yeah, item 15, I believe is supposed to be pulled. Yeah, it needs to be pulled off completely. Dana, is that correct, Mark?
Yes.
Completely off. Yeah,
Okay.
16 is gonna replace 15, so.
Madam Clerk, do we need to vote on 15 to pull it from the agenda or?
No, I think staff can just pull it
Okay.
off. It was continued to this meeting. That's why it's on by a board motion. So that's why it's on there, but staff is replacing it with the updated one.
Well, you want to formally pull this?
Yeah, we just want to pull item 15 and ask that you abandon it as it's superseded by item 16.
Okay, thank you. Other items from the board? Any items from the public need to be pulled? Is there any online?
There are no online requests.
Very well, I will seek a motion to approve the consent agenda excluding item 15, which is now eliminated, pulling number 16 and number 19 for regular agenda.
Second.
Motion by Supervisor Fullendorf, second by Supervisor Stopper. All in favor?
Aye.
Carries 5-0. Thank you. We will move on to therefore item 16.
Chairman Garamendi, I'll introduce the item and then we have Mark Kinslick and Howard Zabel here to answer any questions that your board might have.
Thank you. You have the microphone.
So this item is intended to replace item number 15, which was continued from the March 26, 2024 meeting. This amendment is required to provide project management, administrative, design support, and right-of-way support through the anticipated completion of construction and the closeout process by June 2025, and provide archaeological and cultural resources support through June 15, 2024 for the Wagon Trail project. The proposed amendment will allow Dawkin to continue assisting the construction management team and the county by coordinating and performing environmental and cultural monitoring, construction engineering, and right-of-way support activities. This amendment is necessary due to unexpected construction delays that have occurred, including new and previously unidentified cultural sites that required investigation and additional monitoring beyond what was contemplated in the original contract. Dawkin provided support for design changes due to the unanticipated cultural discoveries. These delays have pushed the anticipated construction completion date through calendar year 2024, with the project administration activities anticipated to be completed in June of 2025. This amendment will allow Dawkin to complete as-built drawings, right-of-way mapping, and complete associated documents for closeout as required by Caltrans. Dawkin is also providing additional right-of-way support for the extension of multiple temporary construction easements, as well as additional support activities for the extended duration of the construction contract. Additionally, this amendment includes archaeological services. These services are necessary to comply with programmatic agreement for handling the artifacts found. Dawkin has a sub-consultant agreement with Environmental Science Associates, ESA. The amendment includes costs for ESA to transition to Alta Archaeological Consulting, Alta, which will be needed to provide archaeological services during ongoing earth-disturbing activities and subsequent testing, recordation of any resources found. This is necessary as the tribe's preferred principal investigator has moved from ESA and is now employed by Alta. The Department of Public Works recommends that the board approve amendment number 9 to the agreement, increasing the amount by $530,903.77 for a total amount not to exceed $7,242,306.28 to provide the additional services required to deliver the Wagon Trail project.
Thank you. Supervisor Stopper, you pulled this item?
A few things. First of all, I know this was combined together with another to come up with this final amount, but some of that total amount was brought up substantially since two weeks ago when we punted to now. So the question is, what is the difference on and why on that? And the second point I have is until we come to conclusion on how we're going to move forward on certain parts of this with how Caltrans is planning and everything, slow walking this so that any final funds going out aren't expended until they need to be expended.
Understood.
So the financial question to start, and then.
Sure. So as far as the agenda item that was on the 2 weeks ago, that was for a portion of it. That was only for Dockin, the design support functions. It did not include the cultural resource monitoring increase. Public Works thought that it would be better to combine the two for one item. I can tell you the number has not gone up. My team and I have gone through the numbers pretty thoroughly. And we feel that that is the best approach for where the project stands right now moving forward. So the numbers as far as the monitoring, you heard the agenda item, a switch from one firm to another. The reason for that is the key archaeologist moved firms. That is the archaeologist of choice that the tribe works well with. So the thought process was that was a good decision to keep that person. What was done was included in this amount was a reallocation of some unspent money from ESA to Alta. The net is the 530,000, right? But the monitoring portion of that is just under 300,000 for monitoring. That includes that reallocation from Alta or from ESA to Alta.
When we get to final, barring any other questions for any other board members, just the caveat added to this that slow walk the spending on this as we move forward until we come to final decisions on progress.
Yes, Supervisor Stauber, thanks for bringing that up again. I do want to tell you, my team and I are looking at this very, very carefully on a daily basis. The number of people out there on a daily basis, on all sides. So we absolutely are. These dollar figures are not. This isn't it's everything. There are some decision points ahead, but we absolutely are watching. What's being done very carefully.
Other questions from the board? Eric?
The amount, I'm just reading the narrative and then I'm going through the whole thing and I just can't get over the fact that what it says here, the cost for Environmental Science Associates, ESA, is to transition to Alta Archaeological Consulting. So we're paying them to push it off to somebody else, is what it's saying. So is that the case? Are we paying them to say, we're done here, take it Alta?
We are not doing that. There's no, when you say pain, I'm not sure that there is the key person here switched firms. And so maybe I'm not understanding the question.
I'm going by what it's stating to us here. It says the
Right.
cost for ESA to transition to Alta. So they're assuming there's a cost for them to transition. They're charging us.
There
to
is-
send it to Alta.
there is no-
But in
the
fact, the person you're talking about was because of them. Not us.
I can understand that I can understand how you would come to that interpretation. I can tell the board there is no additional cost for that transition. The intent of that verbiage is these are the costs. There's a budget reallocation from ESA to Alta. There is no additional cost or markup to any of this. The 94,000 remaining in ESA's budget is going to be taken away and transferred to Alta. So there is not a cost to the county to make this change.
Okay. Thank you for saying that. And I'm going to hold it to that if I see anything different. Because
Absolutely.
the verbiage needs to be more clear when it's in the narrative to the board. Because we're going through all the information that's after this and it doesn't clearly say anything other than what this narrative says. So
I understand.
So any other questions from the board? I have a couple of questions. And I apologize, I'm not an engineer. Just took a accounting class and I like to do debits and credits. In January, we did a contract for Dewberry that had $379,000 set aside for cultural monitoring through ESA. At the time, they were our environmental.
That's correct.
In March, at our last meeting, we gave $181,000 increase primarily around cultural monitoring to Dewberry to help this process. In this one, we're giving $387,000 to Alta through Dawkin to do cultural monitoring. So my question is, of the 307, and I went through our sheet, and there's a rebate from a change of $94,000 from this. And so there's a $285,000 increase in aggregate, it appears on this paper, to travel monitoring cultural resources on this. My question is, of the $379,000 that we allocated in January, what have we spent? Because I'm not, and how is that money, you mentioned it's getting transferred over to Alta. I hear what you're saying, but I'm not seeing it on the balance sheet.
So that's a great question. The reason you're not seeing it, so there are two ESA components and there are two monitoring components. There's the tribal monitoring that the tribe does. There is the archaeological monitoring. They're two separate things. Both of them run through or have run through ESA. The tribal runs through ESA as a subcontract to Dewberry. The archaeological runs through ESA as a subcontract to Dawkin. So the 379 that you mentioned, that you approved January 23rd, I think it was, you're not going to see that on Dawkins. That's not part of that contract. Those two have to work in parallel.
I just want to make sure we're not paying for the same thing twice.
You absolutely are not paying. You are not paying for the same thing twice.
$293,000 increase in a 2-week period causes concern.
So it's not in a 2-week period. We always knew about the 200, both of the increases are because construction is going into another season. That is the reason for the increases. It also, because there were a lot of cultural resources found, there was a higher level of effort, but you are not paying for things twice.
So are you saying that was the intent to piecemeal this? So we had one piece 2 weeks ago and then another piece this week?
It wasn't the intent. It's how it shook out with getting the pricing and the scope from Alta after they made the personnel switch. So that personnel switch, when it went from one company to the other, we needed pricing from them. So it took this amount of time to get that. That's why there was a delay. We didn't have their scope. We didn't have their number when at the January 23rd when we took the tribal monitoring before this board.
You might want to turn. I got something else.
Okay,
Okay,
you want to go first?
if you don't mind.
I'm done.
Quick question, and this might be for council, and I mean, I can wait on it if we need to talk about it between you and me later, but with contract law, and we already have a contract and a budget set up with the first firm and with the tribal member of choice, which we're bound to and tied to, making the choice to switch firms, which in turn seems to be the extra cost to me a little bit. How are we responsible for that? When, I mean, that's a major change to a contract, it would seem.
There was no extra cost, Supervisor Stopper. To the contrary, so there's additional budget that's requested. It's not because of the change. It's because of the increased scope and the increased duration. It has nothing to do with the change in consulting companies.
When we went into budget last year and we made some of these adjustments, I mean, we do it for the fiscal year. And we already knew things were dragging on into this year then. I'm missing a lot. I'm sorry. I'll leave it at that.
I'm sorry, but you're kind of contradicting in my mind yourself. You said there's no change, and yet you made the statement you had to wait for Alta to give you a price. So there had to be some kind of change here when Alta, you were negotiating or whatever and waiting for them to give you a price versus what maybe ESA. I mean, it doesn't sound right on what I'm hearing.
I understand. So let me clarify. Let's say had the switch from ESA to Alta not been required, we'd be at the same place requesting additional money for ESA. The ESA budget would be expended. So there's no more budget for archaeological monitoring. The fact that it changed companies, it's very confusing, but had it still been ESA, we'd be having the same discussion with an amendment only for ESA.
And I don't disagree with you. And it's not confusing to me. I understand exactly where you're saying, but making a statement that it wouldn't cost more, you don't know what ESA's price would have been unless they gave it to you but prior to it. And you don't know if it would have been over 300,000 or whatever it is. Alta was already getting 94 transferred, which I'm not sure because of what this narrative says. I'm still not convinced that they're retaining some money because of their loss of income, because they're just going from them to another company. But we don't know. So we don't know if it would have been the $300,000. So that, we're dealing with what was presented to us that Alta gave us. And I don't know if there's any negotiation, if that was the original price they gave us, if you told him, some negotiation between you and them.
So a few points of clarification to put your mind at ease a bit. This is all of this, the work is time and materials. So these are not lump sums. So it's not a lump sum price. It's time and materials. It's based on hourly rates. So Alta's hourly rates are lower than ESA's. So on an hour per hour basis, it's actually a savings. So that's the hourly rate component. What I asked of the team was to provide a budget based on a certain set of assumptions, a certain level of effort, which we estimate. We don't know exactly, but we estimate based on everything we know. That's how we came to that budget. So I would say that had we been having this discussion with ESA, I think the number would be, the request would be higher than what you see.
But that's provided on the number of hours that they're projecting. ESA could have projected more hours or less hours.
And it's
So based on your presumption and talking to them, it's still whether they're a little bit lower or not, if they projected more hours, then it would have been. I mean, I don't want to get into a discussion with you. I just saying that the possibility that it could have been, if it stayed with the ESA, there was a possibility it could have been less. It is what it is now going forward with Alta. But I expect Dewberry to keep close look at any timesheets they turn in to make sure that we verify that that's the work that's being done.
Absolutely. I will tell you the invoices are scrutinized on a couple of different levels. So I have a good sense of what's happening there, and they are not just getting blindly approved. It's quite the contrary. So we're looking at those carefully.
Thank you, Harm.
Thanks.
Other questions from the board? The action item, is there any public comment on this? Is there any public comment online?
There is no online public comment.
All right, I'll bring it back to the board. Do you have further comments, or is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Supervisor Stopper, second by Supervisor Frondorf. Madam Clerk, will you please call this roll call vote?
District 1,
Aye.
thank you, sorry. District 2,
No.
District 3,
Aye.
District 4, District 5.
No. Or aye. I'm sorry. Aye. I made the motion.
I wasn't sure how it could work out.
So I apologize. Aye.
Passes 4-1.
Thank you.
No.
Thank you.
All right, Supervisor Stopper. Item 19. Hang on, let's let.
Get a breather on that one. I was just scrutinizing everything I want,
I wasn't sure that was against the rules.
I don't know, but regardless, that wasn't I.
Okay.
Item 19, action item, Public Works. 1, adopt the design plan, specification, and estimates for construction of the O'Brien's Ferry Road Guardrail Project. 2, authorize the Director of Public Works to incorporate any minor edits to plans and specifications. And 3, authorize the Department of Public Works to solicit formal construction bids.
I pulled this, not because I'm against it. We definitely need to make this area safe. I've talked with Supervisor Frondorf in the past, and I am very well of the crashes that have happened there. But when we have an outside agency, PS&E for construction and design, we have designs from outside agency on this item, correct?
An outside firm
Outside firm.
perform
Yes,
the
yeah,
design,
yeah.
yes.
For design. At that point, part of the reason we're doing this is a safety concern, and people have been seriously hurt from crashes. And when we get a design and plans, the engineering firm takes responsibility to some extent if those type of designs fail based on their design, right? And
I would ask Sarah about that.
I mean, yeah, they have certain contractual obligations and
Yeah,
indemnification provisions.
Yeah.
Professional
and everything.
standards.
Right.
Well, part two of this says authorize the director of public works to incorporate any minor edits to plans and specifications. At the point where we make any changes ourselves to a design by other engineers, we take on that responsibility because we effectively change a small part of the project. And the engineering firm then can say, look, you changed this and we're not responsible for any failure in the future.
So yes, that would be true. But we would never make a change without going back to the engineering firm and asking them to sign off on the
Well,
plans again.
so that's why I want clarity on this.
Sure.
Because it says authorize the director of public works to incorporate any minor edits to plans and specifications. That's
And so if
after approval and drafting by the original engineering firm should be added to that wording. Because I don't want anything changed outside of that context.
Yeah, and I think the intention of that language is that if the firm were to make changes, it wouldn't have to come back to the board.
I understand.
Yeah.
I want it laid out so that everyone's
No one-
very clear on this.
No one from the county will be changing someone else's stamped plans.
Absolutely, not. absolutely. not.
That's because it happens.
Completely
in
clear.
other places sometimes. So.
Understood.
Other questions from the board? Or was there any public comment on this item? Any public comment online?
There is no online public comment.
Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board for a motion.
Move.
Moved by Supervisor Follendorf,
Second.
second by Supervisor Stopper. Oh, sorry.
Does that motion include the language that we just spoke of?
I wasn't, did
Do
we
we need to?
need to change the language?
I don't, I mean, I understood that Supervisor Stopper was providing clarification, but if you want to change language, we can.
Something simple is something I would like, so it's plain and clear and binding. Here, let me reread it. To route any minor edits. Route is the key. And through the designated design firm. Something to that effect.
Authorize the director of public works to incorporate any minor edits. Made by. Is there
Authorize the director of public works to incorporate any minor edits to plans and specifications made and stamped by specified.
By the consultant would be sufficient because the
Consultant.
changes that are incorporated would be made by
Right.
the consultant
Yeah.
themselves.
Okay.
Right,
Just
yeah. And
minor
stamped.
edits before we go out to bid with the package that you're looking at today.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So is there a change to the language?
I'm gonna check with council. Sure.
So would it be acceptable to just add, so to the end of part 2, to where it would now say to incorporate any minor edits to plans and specifications made by the county's design consultant? Does that make sense from a public works perspective? Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
We'll add that
Thank
into
you.
our standard language going forward.
Let me see if the person making. There's a motion standing with edits or.
I'll second that. Thank you, Ms. Fullendorf, for your consideration. Definitely in support of the project.
So we have a motion and a second as amended. Any public comment? Anybody online?
No online public comment.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries 5-0. Yeah, let's take 5 minutes and then we'll start our regular, I'll have everybody set up. So actually, let's get back here at 10:30. Thank you.
Test, test.
I can hear you.
Thank you. Welcome back to the Board of Supervisors meeting. We're going to continue items 20, 21, and 22 to a future date. I'm going to need a motion to continue it.
Second.
Moved by Supervisor Fallendar, second by Supervisor Stopper. All in favor?
Aye.
Carries 5-0. We will be going back into closed session at the end of this meeting, and we'll report out on that at the next regular scheduled board meeting. Move on to supervisor announcements.
In compliance with Government Code 53232.3D, board members shall provide brief reports on any meetings attended at the expense of the local agency and may make other announcements or report out.
Thank you. Supervisor Stopper, do you want to start?
Nothing to report at this time, sir.
Supervisor Toffenali?
Yeah, I have nothing to report, but I want to bring something up. And see if the board is interested in bringing it back to our next meeting on the 23rd of April. The animal shelter, we voted against the $800,000 last meeting. I would like to, if you read that, what they were had proposed was for them to manage the construction and go through all of a lot of other added stuff other than just the plans, architectural plans and the construction drawings. And I would like for admin to go back to that consultant and ask them just for a price, not all that other stuff, just a price to have the architectural and the structural design drawings completed. So we have those drawings in our hand and we can look at it and see what options we have to go forward on construction of it. At least bring it back and have that discussion and see, have admin have a conversation with them in that terms, just providing drawings so we can move forward on this. I think the price would substantially be reduced to get those drawings to us. If the board is interested. Cool.
We're discussing putting something on the future agenda.
Correct.
Within our main council. I think so.
Yeah, I think if this is just giving direction to staff to bring something back, that should be fine.
Bring something back.
We did give some direction to those ends during the meeting.
Yes, and I'd just like to add, is it possible to get two prices? Because I would love to know what it just costs for phase one, simply just for the dogs, and just for the drawing. That would be great. Thank you.
So this is an agenda item that was not, failed for lack of a motion. So staff, is next week enough time for you to bring us back something
2 weeks.
with 2 weeks to have something of substance?
So if it's okay with your board, we'll try to bring it back in 2 weeks, but we do need to get the pricing from the consultant. So we'll try to have something for the next meeting, but it may be the following meeting before we can bring it back.
Okay, so we're keeping animal shelter moving forward and so.
Moving forward on it. And get the drawings.
Anything else, Supervisor? Amanda?
Last week, attended COG. The COG did approve the CMAQ allocation advancement to the county for the Valley Springs school project. I would, if it would be okay with the rest of the board, another request, have that brought back to understand what that timeline is. These funds do need to start being built. It is on a federal fiscal year, which means October 1st. And the clock is gonna start ticking here pretty soon. So I would think it would be wise to also keep a pulse on that. Also, at that same meeting, and feel free to help me with it. The discussion for the COG, they will be starting the regional transportation planning. That happens every 4 or 5 years, I believe, and we need to make sure that the jurisdictions have all of the projects in that plan. Otherwise, they do not qualify for funding. So even if it's not a priority, but it might be something that could be in the future, like the last meeting we talked about the roundabout, that wasn't a board at that time didn't want to decide, but doesn't mean it shouldn't be in this plan to ensure if it sometime down the line the project is mentioned, it could qualify for potential funding. So we do need to ensure that is in there. I just wanted to let the board know that how that works when it comes to funding. If it's not in these plans, we can't add them should there be a call for project or any other funding avenue that could come in the potential future. Okay.
Yeah, that is federal funding. We have to have a list of projects on that list to be qualified for any federal funding. And unfortunately, Wagon Trail wasn't on that list back then, wasn't even. So we lost out at that, but going forward, we need to put anything we can on that list and get it done. So in the future, we can qualify. If we do qualify, it's on the list, so we can ask for federal funding for it.
Okay.
We discussed priorities, and this has been on our priority list for a long time. Garner Olive Orchard in 26. And that probably should be on there.
Okay.
Along with other things.
I don't know if that's something how to, for further discussion with the board, to make sure those are captured when public work comes back. But however that might manifest itself, I think the board would be, I'm assuming the board would be interested in ensuring that their priorities are in that list. For federal funding, but I just want to put it on everybody's radar today. It's also coming up, and then the RFP will be going out. So once both jurisdictions get their information in, that will kick off, and that planning will happen in the next year.
So this needs to get the list together for CMAQ, right?
It's more than that. It's all federal funding.
So that would be Teresa, can staff bring that back and let's put that together?
We'll work with Public Works and Melissa at the COG to put a list together.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Mark?
Yes, I attended the Calaveras Mariposa Community Action Agency meeting and was very pleased to see the new board members. I attended the Area 12 Agency on Aging, and I need to talk to Teresa regarding possible increase in this year's funding. I also just wanted to commend the road crews for the action that they took during this past storm. Nobody was expecting as much as we got, and they handled it beautifully. And I'm going to save my Spartan shout out for next meeting.
Very good. Nothing to report. Don't forget, we get the meetings going on the 11th for Calaveras County Parks Master Plans. The 11th will be at 5:30 p.m. at West Point. The District 3's is April 17th, Native Sons Hall, 5:30. And then District 1 seen it at April 18th, Chamberlain Memorial, Veterans Memorial. Is there anything else, Madam CEO?
We're continuing to have our Parks and Rec master plan meetings throughout all of the districts. I did attend the one in District 5 and also the one in District 4. So, and those seem to be going pretty well, but we would encourage the public to come out and give their input on that plan.
And council? Clerk?
Good.
Very well, we will adjourn this meeting and go back into closed session where we'll report out the next regular scheduled meeting.